Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 3 teams who should knock down the door for Jimmy Butler and win a championship. If it wasn't clear before, the Jimmy Butler era in Miami appears to be nearing its end. It's been reported that the Heat are exploring potential trade options for the 6x6 All-Star. Butler has been a cornerstone for the Miami Heat over the last few seasons, helping lead them to the NBA Finals in 2 of the previous 5 years. While Miami remains competitive with a 13-11 record, it's evident that the ceiling with Butler as a focal point is limited, and it may be time for the Heat to look for a fresh start. At 35 years old, Butler has plenty left in the tank and can still play at an elite level when needed. Several teams around the league would benefit from adding him to their roster, and with the NBA trade deadline approaching, here are some teams that should make a play for Butler. The Golden State Warriors are pulling out all the stops to capture another championship during Stephen Curry's twilight years. They've already made a deal to acquire Dennis Schroeder, and they still have several pieces they could use to trade for another star. The supporting cast is stronger than it's been the past few years, but they still seem a step behind the top teams in the West. Adding Jimmy Butler could change that. He is still highly versatile on both ends of the court and has the playoff experience to elevate the Warriors on their quest for another championship. Butler has also shown the ability to adapt to any playstyle, with experience playing under some of the best coaches in the league, like Eric Spoelstra and Tom Thibodeau. The experience would serve him well, as he would be coached by another great basketball mind in Steve Kerr if traded to the Warriors. Fresh off their run to the NBA Finals from the season prior, the 17-9 Dallas Mavericks are looking for ways to get themselves over the hump. The Mavericks boast one of the better teams in the league behind their dynamic backcourt in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic and some stellar role players. However, they still lack the firepower needed to make another finals appearance and compete with an improved Thunder team. Adding Butler would solve this problem significantly. Butler gives the Mavs another leader in the locker room who's been to the NBA Finals before, while giving a significant upgrade on the wing. A potential homecoming could be in the cards for Butler with a trade to the Houston Rockets. The Rockets are experiencing one of the best seasons since the James Harden era, thanks to the coaching of Ime Udoka and the emergence of their young core. Currently sitting at 3rd seed in the West, the Rockets are playing well behind the play of their young stars, Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun. Both are playing at an all-star level, however, they may lack the experience needed to perform in the postseason. Enter Jimmy Butler. A potential trade with the Miami Heat centered around Jimmy Butler would satisfy both sides. The Heat would add to the already young core by getting a number of players from the Rockets who aren't seeing much playing time and could benefit from a change of scenery. Meanwhile, Butler could serve as the missing piece to take the Rockets to the next level. He gives them a seasoned leader and a guy who could turn up his play in the postseason, and another big-time scoring option throughout the season to turn to when Sengun and Green don't have it going. Time for the Heat to have an uncomfortable conversation about Jaime Jaquez Jr. Entering his 2nd season, Jaime Jaquez Jr. was looking to make a leap. After Jaquez's promising rookie year, many, including myself, thought he could be in the running to win the 6th Man of the Year award. With all the hype coming into this season, Jaquez injured his groin early and has not looked the same since he returned from injury. Jaquez has had moments this year of looking like his old self, but more times than not, it hasn't been there for him. He needs to have the athleticism he showed last year. He looks like he doesn't have a plan when trying to create. Jaquez's best trait on offense is posting up and attacking the rim. He needs to do better. If Jaquez can regain one of those skills, he would see the ball go through the hoop, and that will help him get going. It could be best for Miami to sit Jaquez for a game or 2. Miami has depth and other options if Jaquez continues to struggle. Maybe this is a chance to play Nikola Jovic more. Jaquez has been allowed to play through his mistakes, but Jovic still needs to. Surprising second-round pick Pelle Larsson can also get some of Jaquez's minutes. Larsson is a better defender than Jaquez and has been more of a connector on offense. Alec Burks is another guy who should get another look. Burks can get hot from three and can create his shot. Throwing Burks out there for a game or two would be a good idea for Miami. Miami needs to switch up its rotation for a couple of games. Jovic needs to play more than Jaquez. Jovic adds more size to the rotation and another ball handler. Also, Jovic is a better shooter than Jaquez. Jaquez has struggled for three this past season. Jaquez has shot from three, 27.8%. Jaquez should still be in Miami's plan, but he needs to earn his way back into the lineup. Why the Miami Heat will not trade Jimmy Butler to the Phoenix Suns. Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler and Phoenix Suns share mutual interest in each other. Just because the two parties hold a desire to team up does not mean it will come to fruition. The biggest obstacle standing in the way of this potential blockbuster trade is Suns guard Bradley Beal for multiple reasons. The first of which is Beal's no-trade clause. He and LeBron James are the only players in the NBA with this power. In other words, if Beal doesn't want to play for the Heat, he doesn't have to. This is likely a problem that can be overcome, considering the three-time All-Star questioned why the Heat passed on him in years prior. First off, Phoenix wasn't even in the picture for me to go to, Beal shared on the Run Your Race podcast. Listen, that was a fly ball. I'm waiting on Miami to hit me a grounder. Milwaukee, those were kind of like my two. Miami didn't want to do it for whatever reason, didn't know why. The issue that leaves this deal with almost no chance of occurring is the current version of Beal. The fall in production from his final year with the Washington Wizards to his 15 appearances this year is major. He averaged 23.2 points and 5.4 assists on 50.6% shooting in 2023 compared to 17.8 points and 3.3 assists on 49.3% shooting this year. The drop in scoring is understandable, but there was an expectation that another element of his game would take off. Instead, his playmaking and defense are worse than in years prior, if anything. Pair this with Beal's lucrative $50.2 million salary that only increases through the 2027 season, player option, and it leaves the Heat with no incentive to acquire him. It would make far more sense for the Heat to play out the final guaranteed year of Butler's contract. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.